Spiral, two Jews, two mics,
and Todd Glass.
Starting now.
That's a good way to start out the podcast. Shut up.
No, we will start it out that way. This is your undoing.
This is your.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Andy.
no.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Josh.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Josh does not even know what I'm talking about. That when Todd goes to a club, and this is a totally
I
true
know
story,
he's got atmosphere that comes along with
he brings
him.
his own curtains.
Yes.
That's
He
not
brings his own
true. That's not true.
I like it to think of it as caring, Andy. I'm on Todd's side here.
Thank you. And you know what? I'm going to make this short. I could talk about it forever, but I have.
No,
So I
please,
try to-
please. We want to hear. This is what we want.
No,
what we're
no.
interviewing you for. Is this?
It's smart to sometimes go, maybe I have talked about this enough, but I'll give you the short. You know, in like with music, with like DJs and certain they have warehouses and they take them over and they do their shows.
Right.
And my nephew was telling me, he goes, yeah, that it's funny that at a club it's like a big deal you do that. He goes, but when they go in, they do everything. It's not like they have to go, hey, we might make the hallways blue. They do. It's an art installation. No, I'm saying that's what they do. I don't think you understand what I'm saying, Andy.
I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm not stupid.
They don't have a club owner going, if they say, oh, it's weird, we're going to do it. They go, everybody does it every week. You take over the entire place. So that's what I do with a club. From like when they get in the front door, things that other comedians don't really care about, which I understand. I want to take over the whole place and make it.
I think the past hors d'oeuvres are especially nice.
Yes, thank you.
What's that? How come I missed this? Past
He's
hors
kidding.
d'oeuvres.
Like if I had hors d'oeuvres going around.
Oh, the past means PASSED. This is the kind of problem we have on the actual Thought Spiral show. Is this guy's 5 miles ahead of me? I can't keep up with you two.
Todd, you should know that you're like our annual guest pretty much. So we don't have a regular rhythm for this. So we apologize in advance.
Oh, that's okay. I'm happy to do it. I haven't seen, Andy in a long time.
Why do you sound so tentative? This is not an audition. You're on the show. Why are you so tentative about it? I told you before the thing, just be yourself on the show.
Oh, I love you so much.
Really?
Todd.
That's your takeaway from that?
No, but Todd, let me ask you a question. Mark Maron, I just heard, has announced that he's stopping his show. I don't know if you've heard that. I read that in the news. And I want, and there are still rumors that his show started a decline when you did your I'm a gay shtick person.
Well, I thought it was, you know, it's funny, Andy. Somebody asked me, I said I would never want to be roasted because I'm too thin-skinned, and it would it would kill me. But then my friend goes, but what if it's about people that loved you?
Oh, of course.
And right away, like that's sort of what it should be anyway. Then
That's what it used to be, maybe, right?
Yeah, because the sweeter, to me it makes it funnier. But anyway, nevertheless, I thought right away, I go, oh yes, I would. And we were doing an impersonation of you at my roast, going that exactly what you just said.
Right.
Todd Glass came out of the closet because he was out of any other shtick. So now he's stuck kissing guys because he didn't know what to do with his career.
I told him, go the polygamy route. If you're going to do anything, go the polygamy route. So, keep your options open.
Andy created the whole genre of having a roast with the people not in the room. The coward's roast.
That's the good way to do it. You don't have to deal with them watching you. It's easier to do it behind people's back.
Absolutely.
It's also more, I don't know if it's more appropriate, but it's good for me. No, I had to come to terms that maybe these people weren't going to, maybe Adam Sandler wouldn't like it if I said, you are king his guts. He would try to destroy my career. I thought people would take that well.
Well.
So I'm curious, since Andy brought up the topic, I'm curious, what was the difference between the reality and the expectation when you came out?
Oh, you know what? It did everything I wanted it to do. I thought, to be honest, I remember specifically thinking, everybody always goes, oh, it's better after you come out. You're nervous, but it's better. And I went, it's not going to be for me.
Yeah.
I was a little worried. I didn't want it to become my identity. And My manager gave me just simple advice like 2 nights before. He goes, Todd, it won't be your identity because it's not the most interesting thing about you.
Right.
But it is something about you. And it's so that calmed me. And then right away, like just, I mean, obviously, being in the closet isn't the only thing people keep to themselves about. It could be anything, many things in life that people keep inside. And it's always fun to get it out. So, oh, yeah, there's not that many months that go by where I don't think, oh my God, how much better is my life now,
Yeah.
Well, I've seen you on stage too, and you talk about more more like personal things now.
I try.
I've noticed, yeah.
I
Sorry,
try.
Doc, I cut you off.
Do you
Yeah.
think that's because you just, even though you weren't talking about relationships, you still had a fence around your life at that point?
Oh, exactly. And you know what? And I was just on the road. I'm getting ready to go to New York to do a 2 week sort of, I guess you could say residency during the festival. And I'm gonna have my band with me. And it's not only the band, it's a show that I've been sort of working on even over the last 2 years, And
You can say
well,
one-man show. Come on. You can
No,
say
no, it's not. It's
I'm
not.
kidding.
And you can
I know
also
it.
say
And
festival. You don't
and
have to
I
hold
think
back. It's a festival. Come on.
I think that I don't want to say one-man show for the right reason because not that there aren't brilliant one-man shows, but when you go out to see a stand-up show, I know what it's like. I remember before I did stand-up, even though it was a short period, but like from 13 on, and there's a lot of laughs per minute. And my friend said, forget about a bad comedy. Forget compared to a good comedy. The average hour of someone, a headlining comedian that cares, that puts thought into his act, an hour of that show compared to even a good comedy movie. There's not as many laughs in a comedy movie, even a good one.
No.
If I remember what it was like to drive down to the Comedy Works in Philly and see these comedians, and overwhelmingly they would just annihilate for an hour. It's a feeling. So that's what I like to give to people. So I don't want it to be a one-man show, but I do want it to have a little more depth than it
Right.
used to be, and talk about myself. But it doesn't have to be about that part of my life, just everything. What I never really talked about when I was a kid. And my friend Daniel goes, why don't you talk about that? Because I was telling him off stage. And I was like, I will. I didn't, just like I started being, one of the things was he thought was funny. I definitely had OCD in third grade. I wanted things. I remember coming home from school, and I was just telling him this, and I wanted it. I hated footprints on the rugs. I hated dog nose marks on the window of the kitchen. It drove me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And I was also embarrassed. So, like, I told him I would knock over a plant and blame it on the dog. This was probably fifth grade. I would knock over a plant, go Gallo, and then I would vacuum the whole house.
I love the way you do that. Gallo.
So was that was cover to vacuum the whole house?
Yeah, or like just do it and hope nobody came in the kitchen because I was cleaning the windows and stuff like that. But anyway, not to get into it. That's enough. But like
That's
that
enough
type
about you and your life.
It's
You know what I'm
enough.
saying? This is not about that. This is about us, like Alan King, dissecting comedy. That's what this was supposed to be. What is a setup? What's a punchline? What's a blow?
you're the lead. I'll let you take the lead.
Oh God, I can't believe you blew it. Now we're not going to be. Why am I
Speaking
fake
of Alan
angry?
King, I just watched. Is it called Bitterman is Dead, or do you know that movie?
Not Barry Bitterman. No,
No, I'm trying to think. I got to look it up. But it's like 1968, and it's Alan King had a very long and tedious cameo in it. But it was
said the New York Times.
George Siegel, Jack Warden, Sorrel Book, aka Boss Hogg.
Wow.
But it was basically, and it was Sidney Lumet directing a comedy, but it was basically like a 90-minute hate crime against Judaism.
Wow.
In various forms. I think it was meant to sort of skew Reform Jews, like New York intellectuals.
Yes.
I mean, it was definitely self-hating Jew crime. It wasn't like,
Right.
but it was even like, Godfrey Cambridge doing a cameo as like this black Jew. And it was like,
Wow.
It was really weird and bad.
I have a question. Do you use the video in this podcast or just the audio?
Just
we only
audio.
use the audio. We're not on YouTube.
Oh God, I could relax.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering that you were probably thinking about that and being vain to the point of not being able to leave your house without a glam squad.
And then he looked at us and went, clearly, they're not doing video.
No, we're not. And I think it's one of the best things that we do in the show is not show ourselves. It's the
Can
last
I
thing
tell you?
people
I
need to
think
see.
I'm being serious. I think that I never did it because I knew this might say everything, but I'm not saying nobody should do videotape their podcast. Some people do it, and it's great. It looks great. So that is not what I'm
It's
saying.
monetizing too. That's the reason why they do it, right,
Whatever the
Josh?
reason, sometimes people like to video it. It looks cool.
Right.
They have a cool studio, and I think they should video it. But one of the reasons I didn't is I think this will make total sense. And what I love about just you're sort of saying from basically radio, that's just the hearing it. Sometimes me and my ex, and by the way, sometimes on stage I'll tie this together. I don't have to talk about being gay. Sometimes
Right.
all it is that in a story I say he, and I move past
Right.
it. That I'm comfortable to do that now. Like
Yes.
for a while, if I talked about it, it was talked about the process of coming out. And my friend goes, eventually you should just, Todd, be comfortable. You're just talking. So anyway, in this
Right.
case, me and my ex, we would get on the phone and we would FaceTime because we hadn't seen each other in a while. And we thought, that's going to be really good. We'll FaceTime. What could be more warm than that? And halfway through, sometimes we'd go, let's go back to just a call. Maybe he had to go in and cook in the kitchen and he didn't want to. And we always thought it's actually better. There's something when you don't have to look at each other sometimes that you're just concentrating on the word. Like, like driving in the car and listening to radio or listening to a podcast. And so sometimes no visual, I think, and the guests are more relaxed.
Yeah.
So there's a warmth that you get from not recording it, and everyone relaxes. So that's why I never recorded mine. I mean, we would put little clips up.
You didn't
and stuff.
record it at all, so it's not. It doesn't exist.
Not video.
See, that's the gold we miss out on with having it.
Hey Andy, I wrote a little song. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
I've been improvising songs. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
I got a friend named Andy. He's a good guy. You know something, I don't mean to pry, but all these people, they said it not to be callous. But Andy, don't you remember? We met in Dallas. I met you. You met.
That's so cruel, and that's also it's a
I
song.
thought after those faces you were going to go to Charlie Callis, but
Hey, I don't mean to be Charlie Callis. That's like if you're a real comedy fan.
Yes, we met in. This is the thing, Josh. You may not know about the Ballad of Andy and Todd. We met in Dallas, and it was a match made in heaven.
Yeah,
and,
the owner of the club. He kept saying, I want you to meet Andy Kindler. And I didn't that time in, but I came back like 5 months later. He was at the other club, which was like 15 minutes away, Addison, and there was Dallas. And he kept saying, I want you to meet Andy Kindler. I want you to meet Andy Kindler. And I was like, he was really obsessive about it because you two are going to get along great. We met the first night and we were fucking fell in love. It was like, I love this guy. It was like just pure joy. And I always think, Tom, you know what? You were right. I'm glad we met.
Tom Castillo. You didn't give him a credit. Tom
Meanwhile, I played Dallas with Glenn, Mr. Bullhorn Super.
Oh, Glenn Super.
God rest his bullhorn.
Yes.
Todd, you used to do Super, and you don't remember this, but you used to do Super doing political stuff. Getting out of Vietnam would be nice. Remember that stuff?
No.
Yeah, you used to yell.
I did that?
Yes, but you can't remember everything you do off stage.
Yes, I do. I remember everything. Hey, I think I'm giving it a shout out because, I think you'll appreciate it because it's comedy. But I came upon Rich Scheidner's I think on TikTok and it's on Instagram, The History of Comedy.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. I love it. It's like 1 or 2 minutes. He tells a good, quick, clean story. And a lot of times it's stuff you feel like as a comedian you should have known or just a comedy lover. And it's quick. It's an easy way to digest.
Well, guess what, Todd?
What?
Guess what?
What?
Go ahead, Josh. Tell him.
Oh, I directed his one-man show version of that thing. So
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, so I'm right. I came upon it like 2 weeks ago, and so far I've been, learning a lot of little stuff. And I don't like, it's very quick. That's the way I like to take in information. Quick, good story,
Right.
2 minute long. But anyway, little
Yeah, no,
shout out to Rich.
he's a good storyteller.
Yeah, he looks good too. You know what? He looks good.
Yeah.
And also, when I started comedy, or maybe I've been doing it for 8 years by that point, I loved his material. His whole thing about how he he would smoke pot to get excited about something, and then he would snort coke to get, and then he would. This whole thing about how when you do coke, you associate with people that you wouldn't normally associate with. Oh, you kill people for a living? Well, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just different. See, a guy, I don't have
that. Is a good Scheidner. That's a good Scheidner.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's different. See, a guy.
How come you don't compliment my impressions at all?
Because, Andy, yours are.
Here's one of the first bits that Todd and I were involved in. I had a little party at the condo the first week. And then all of a sudden...
Is this in Texas?
Texas, yeah, the condo. And all of a sudden, Todd's like, maybe I'll have a party. And then, for the next 8 hours, I just went, oh, did Andy not have Coco Lopez in his pina coladas?
Wait, Andy, because I mentioned to you that I was going to have food, and you go, oh, you're going to try to top me? So for the next 24 hours, you would be me walking around my party going, oh, hors d'oeuvres. Hey, did Andy have hors d'oeuvres? He didn't have any hors d'oeuvres. Oh, here you go. And you were like, oh, I have some shaved orange for your Orange Julius. Did Andy didn't have, he didn't have desserts.
Oh, we just had prepackaged food. Oh, that was fun. In a lot of ways, things have not gotten better since then. I mean,
what do you
can't
mean?
get better. I mean, it hasn't got. It was great, and it was the camaraderie. And if I had died the next day after that, I would have been disappointed, but it would have been okay.
I'm not
well
sure
said.
I followed you.
Well said. Darn.
Then one time, Todd and I we spent hours on the phone, right? And hours on the phone, and then I said to you, we were talking about he was doing the mobile comedian, right? He's doing the mobile comedian.
That was. Oh, does this even tell funny?
Yes.
That was at your house late at night. I was doing this thing called the mobile comedian.
Right.
And you had your guitar. We're in the condo that Dallas kept you in back then. You had one, and I was in the other one. But I came by yours, and you had your guitar out, and it was really nice. And you're singing Todd Glass, the mobile DJ, and I'm like, it's not DJ.
That was the funniest thing. I think because it's comedian. It's not mobile DJ.
To me, that was an insult. Like driving around with a truck with a stage on it isn't any better.
All right.
We've been together so long, Todd. I remember everything about you. I remember when we met once outside the Santa Monica Improv, and I remember you did a commercial for Harvey's Casino. Is that true? Where you come out of the elevator. You came out of the elevator and you went, woo, like Rickles almost.
Oh, that was for Toyota.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I go, oh, that's when I knew I didn't want to act. Oh, even coming out of that elevator. That day was a day where I started flop sweating, and I decided I can't do commercials. I cannot. It's making me feel like I'm back in high school. I get nervous. I get a stomach ache. It's not only the commercial. That's the least part about it. The audition. That's 3 minutes. It's the worrying before I get there, sweating in my car. It ruins my whole life. I felt like I was back in high school. And
sometimes your nervous system tells you you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, I would get off and they would go, you're not excited, you're more ecstatic, if that makes any sense. And you're not like, on a scale from 1 to 10, you're jumping up and down, but it's not like a 10, it's more like a 3. Now I'm like, oh shit, the elevator doors would open up. And then I saw my ex behind the director. He was just hanging out with me that day, and he's like this. I see him go, oh, because he can't believe I can't get it. I'm like, that is not helping. Oh, and the flop sweat, it was just...
You are one in a million. You are one in a million. And I think America relates, just like Adomian emphasized his sweating on his special. Did you see his special? Is so great.
I did.
And his shirt got more wet.
That's why I only wear black shirts on stage. That's all I can wear.
Because you sweat?
Because I sweat a lot.
Oh, but if I'm playing, how come when they're playing a basketball game and they're sweating at the foul line, that's not bad. I sweat during a bit about cheese, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, well, but you don't have three teenagers to come mop up the floor as soon as you move to the other side of the stage.
That's basketball stuff, man.
I love to sweat. It's just the type of thing I do. Andy Kindler, please. That's all. That's the part of the songs I do. If the audience wants more than that, I tell them, well, go fucking see someone who does more.
But this isn't no. I keep trying to tell him,
I
Josh, it's not an audition. You're on the show.
No, this is the best I have.
I stopped sweating, and it was directly correlated to when I stopped caring on stage.
Well, it could be. Sometimes I know what you mean. That for me is flop sweat when I'm just nervous because maybe I'm not. Yeah, just I don't know. Maybe I don't have. I'm not prepared. Is when I really flop sweat.
Yeah.
But you know what I started doing?
I'm about to headline for a week for the first time on stage in 2 years. So
Where?
At Acme in Minneapolis.
Oh, cool. Well, at least it's a good club, and you know that the
Yeah.
situation is going to be the best it can possibly be.
Yes, and he loves me enough that there's no stakes for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good place. That's a fun place to be. You know what I learned about the Acme? Like, if it wasn't for the Acme, I would have just said, "Oh, Minneapolis, the crowds are rowdy, they're dumb, they're stupid." I wouldn't have known that. No, the club you were at,
The Mall of America. Is
the
that what you
Mall of
went?
America. So then I learned now, like almost any city, they might not be able to have a 300-seat club, but I think any city can have a small, pretty good club with good comedians. But it's just whatever you book. Because then I went over to his club, and it was like, oh, this is still Minneapolis, but
Yeah.
these unbelievable crowds.
Yeah, the mall is no litmus test for that city.
Oh,
That's where I came up with my whole bit about how in the 80s there were more comedy clubs than there were ATMs, and you would say, "Where's the club?" "Oh, it's great. It's in the mall, right next to the Bed Bath and Beyond. You're gonna
Ugh.
love it."
yeah.
It's my old material, Todd.
I love
My
it.
old
I love
material.
everything.
And then you go
do.
in. You go in, you see Jack. You know, they have pictures of Groucho Marx on the wall, and why drag him into it? Thank you, Josh.
It's good. It's fresh as the day you wrote it 30 years ago. 30 years
mask.
too late.
It's timeless. It's like a pair of Ray-Bans.
What'd they do? What did that person do? What did the Rich brothers do to deserve this? Sorry, I apologize for me.
All right, there's your lull.
No. You first of all, I'm not lip smacking today. This you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like doing this podcast. Josh does all the work. He edits it down, and he does every piece of work to do with it. And then he makes fun of my lip smacking, and then he wonders why.
Well, you need a friend to tell you the truth. What do you ask? Let me ask you a question. This podcast, and by the way, I'm happy to talk to you guys. So, is there a theme? Would you say there is a theme, or
Yes,
like
yes.
What, did you say it
gems,
already?
Gemstones. We usually would talk 5 years about it. No, there's no theme. That's why he called it Thought Spiral. Tell him all about it, Josh.
Right. No, I get the name says everything, but now that you say it, but
and
yeah,
it also explains our limited success, I would say, because there's really nothing except for Andy, really, and then me just trying to knock Andy down constantly.
Which is so great. I don't understand. And the thing is, what do we want? I don't want any more than this. Josh is doing all the work. No, but seriously, I enjoy the show, and I don't care how popular it gets. I could he somewhat lies, and then I would be envious of my favorite murder. What was that show with Karen O'Gara? My favorite murder.
My favorite murder. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh.
Oh, he was jealous for good.
Oh, he's jealous.
Oh, he was jealous.
And she's a friend, and she's made $100 million. I don't hide my jealousy anymore, Todd. I wear it on proudly.
You always did.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm even more.
For a while, I tried to introduce a segment where we retire a grudge of Andy's like once a week.
That's a good idea.
We couldn't get past one. We couldn't get to one.
You told me the grudge that I had wasn't worth the topic. That's what happened. You said that's not a grudge.
No, that wasn't a grudge. That was like I didn't like something.
Yes, and now I do like it. I didn't like cream cheese on toast, but you know what? I had it on the bagel. I loved it.
You know, that's sort of true in a way, right?
You know you're mic'd, right, Todd?
Why am I yelling?
No. I'm yelling. I'm yelling. What you're doing is performing.
Yes. Well, isn't that true though that cream cheese is better on a bagel than toast, and it's not
I
that
picked
much?
the wrong example for the
No, I
joke.
agree with you.
No, but I made
I
it sound
swear
like
to
they'd
God.
never tried it before. And then all of a sudden, they brought a bagel in the room.
Yes. Okay. Well, I was trying. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Don't be upset, Todd.
I'm
I
not
think it's a good
upset,
show.
Andy.
It's a good
I'm
show.
not upset. I'm disappointed and mad.
I hope we don't lose our listener.
Andy, do the do this guy here. I'm gonna set you up. You know, people go, I'm not mad, I'm hurt. But you do the guy who's like, it's worse. I'm not mad, I'm violent. I'm not mad. But the more he says, but I'm not mad, but then go
I'm
ahead.
not mad, but I never did that character. So now
I know, that's
you're
why I'm
hanging.
throwing it at you.
I'm
That's
not
right.
mad. I'm not mad. I just
Apoplectic.
want to. I'm apoplectic. I'm not mad. The
Oh.
fact that I want to tear you apart limb from limb shows how much love I have. Why am I in an improv class with you now? I'm a
No.
big star.
I'm
Big
so-
star.
I'm sorry that I did it. And do you still work on Bob's Burger?
Yes, I do. It's burgers. It's plural.
Excuse me.
No, that's actually his job on the show is name clarifying.
The reason I like that show, I was talking about it this weekend with somebody, is that it's sometimes just especially, I know it sounds so said, but like with what's going on in the world, and I do like crass. That's like, that's definitely a type of comedy that I like. Crass and, absurd and take it. But sometimes I like it also to be sweet. And it doesn't have to
Yes.
be like, so mean spirited, but still have guts and have some crassness to it. So some nights that's my go-to, just feel good show, and I'm just need something like that.
You don't
know
like
what I mean?
my old Everybody Loves Raymond's?
No. Everybody Loves Raymond is still great too, by the way.
I know you just did that to erase the joke you just did.
Well,
No.
no, because I mean it. Like me and my brother were talking about and I have to preface this. I'm not a guy that says, "Oh, there's nothing like those old shows." Yes, there is. There's great shows on television today, but there's no doubt. Like growing up with Mary Tyler Moore, that was a well-written show, and and everybody loves Raymond. My brother said we were watching. I said, "When's the last time you watched a full Mary Tyler Moore episode?" When I was home, and we did. He goes, "Every character on that show, no
So
matter
great.
who it was." And Georgine, when they brought in Ted's girlfriend,
Why are you upset about it? Why are you seem upset about
Oh, I'm
it?
passionate. Was great. And then same thing with Everybody Loves Raymond. There's it's every.
I'm too close
character.
to the show to feel that way about it because I'm always looking at what I didn't do.
Well,
But All in the Family, I could watch that. I've been watching those again.
But all of those shows have that, just line them up and go around the horn with jokes quality that that modern comedy doesn't have, and that it's not better or worse. It's just like it's a type of artificiality that we totally bought at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't want to get
Don't get me upset.
opinionated. I don't know if that's true. I think if you didn't mind someone, maybe let's say, maybe proving you wrong on that, even something you would like, there's just so much stuff. But I bet if somebody goes, well, watch this, and you watched it, there's different stuff, there's absurd stuff, there's more crass stuff, but there's also just some good old fashioned shows out there. I would imagine. Usually, the only reason I say that.
I would imagine he.
I would
ends with.
imagine,
I
but
would
he's-
imagine was your
You heard
case.
him.
Well, the reason I say
I wasn't,
that.
this wasn't. I mean, if you're trying to tell me that I was making it used to be good and it's not anymore argument, that wasn't at all what I was saying. So.
His argument is
not
it's
at
never
all.
been
I'm
good. It's
saying-
never been good, and it's getting worse.
No, I know what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're saying there could be stuff that's not like that that's still brilliant and great, but I think there is probably something out there. The only reason I say that is because my ex used to put, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known any new music, but he knows what I like, so he would put stuff in front of me that's new, but he knows it would be my sensibility, and I was like, oh, I just didn't have the time to sift through it myself. So sometimes stuff gets lost in that there's just so much out there today.
Yeah, I was more talking about not even my taste so much as just that the multi-camera sitcom, that what we were talking about with Mary Tyler Moore and All in the
Right.
Family, and even up to Raymond, that style of comedy plays as old now. You know, when you see multi-camera shows on network right now, it doesn't feel like a modern format anymore. That's why
Yeah,
everything.
that is
That's why everything
is
is like
true.
fake documentary now, because that multi-camera just plays old now.
it ran its course. You know what
Yeah.
I'm always amazed at? Like when you look at, I know, you're talking about the 3 camera shoot, but like when you look at stuff that you go, when is this from? And it's from 2000. Just the quality of the video.
Yeah.
Like you look at an old news clip and you're like, when's this from? And you're like, it's from 2000. It looks like it's from the like 78. You know,
Right.
that the quality gets cleaner and crisper is always amazing. That's
I'm
all I
glad.
can.
I'm glad that there are not. When I was coming up, there's too much footage from Rascals Comedy Hour, but I'm just to have dodged the bullet of having cameras on you all those years. I don't think we can realize how wonderful that was.
Oh, I could think of me in the comedy cabaret. I'm glad that some of that stuff doesn't exist.
Ray Bishop
From not what?
from Ray Bishop.
No, comedy cabaret is in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
But I'm 19, well, 17, 18, 19. doing
You're just like
stand-up.
Josh.
Yeah,
Josh started young too.
Where did you start, Josh? What city?
I started in Minneapolis at 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I did Mystery Science Theater at like 17 and 18 there.
Wow. So you started, who took you to the show? Did you have a parent or a brother?
No, I had a friend. I mean, I started doing one-nighters around the Midwest when I was 16 during spring break and shit. My parents just kind of weirdly let me in a weird way. Like, my dad was my mom was terrified, and my dad was like, well, he has the wherewithal to get these gigs. You might as well let him do them.
Those are
Wow.
nice parents.
Well, I'm always surprised that there's a reasonable amount of kids that start very young. That when you hear their story, they're like, "Yeah, I was 15, 16 years old." I
That's
saw
you two. That's you two.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
sorry. to
saw
interrupt.
I saw a kid on Instagram. Now there's some you see, but I always get the feeling. Did you ever see this where you see a kid maybe on Instagram and they put up the video? Like you said, Andy, 30 years ago, he would have just done it at the club that night. And now it looks like, oh, somebody wrote this for you. You're not. But the other day, I saw this kid and I believed it was coming from him. And I'm like, look at this little fucker. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't even remember his name, but I'm like, I bet he's not going to stop doing stand up. He's like 14, 15 years old and like already has sort of like, has something.
Like
It's pretty cool.
I mean, I can't imagine just the resources available now. Like I had like Bill Boggs Comedy Tonight, to watch and learn and see other comics. But now it's like if you get that bug and you're young, it's like you can just dive as deep as you want, and you can learn, just from the rhythm of people online, you can kind of learn how to write jokes before you ever go on stage,
Right. And you see more comedy, like, that's. Did you say you did your first night at Acme?
Huh?
Did you do your first night at Acme open mic night, you said?
No, I actually predated Acme.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I started in '87. Acme opened I moved to LA. Acme opened like 2 months before I moved to LA when I was 20. So '91, I think they opened.
Wow.
So I've always headlined there, but
You're gonna have fun.
But it's chair. I mean, it's literally just like Louis Lee. I knew him when he was a bartender at the Comedy Gallery which was the previous big club in Minneapolis. And I made I Need You to Kill, which is a movie about Louis and the club and going to Asia doing stand up. And so I'm like a forever headliner at Acme, but like I tried to talk him out of it this year, and he was like, "Just come, just be funny by Saturday," So.
Aw, I mean that's the best way to.
It's awesome.
To go
Yeah,
somewhere,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
I love it.
That's your hometown too.
it
I
is.
don't know what my problem. is.
Minneapolis is my baby. Ah.
How do you like
What-
being
what did you
compared to me,
say?
Todd? How do you like being that we're compared to each other all the time? Don't you love that people put us in the same boat of two unsuccessful comedians who had a shot and went the self-sabotage route? Doesn't that make you feel good?
No, I don't. How dare you?
I almost said that for you.
I still have, I still got a little bit in me.
No, I'm ready for what is it? My third act now, Josh. I always forget. Josh says my third act.
I don't know which act was the gun in. The first act. So yeah, it's your third.
I
I
feel like
know,
I'm in.
Andy. Honestly, I know this is not what you're saying, but you'll get what I mean. Sometimes, like, and I don't say anything, but maybe it's my ego, maybe it's my pride. Somebody I haven't seen in a while, and they'll be like, "I don't know about you, but I'm not just staying at the shitty hotels, and then the comedy clubs where they're slopping chicken strips out." And I want to go, well, that's not where I work.
All right.
Right.
Like I want to say to them, like, no, that club exists, but they're not the ones I'm going to. But I don't say that, and it's probably my own ego that I want to go. No, we stay in nice hotels. I might still be at comedy clubs, but I'm not at the shitty ones. I'm at the ones that you're happy to be there. And there's nothing better to me than being at like a good club. Acme is one of those clubs where you make the green room. For me, I make the green room my own, and then you're there for 4 or 5 nights, and you walk in to predictability and a staff you love 5 nights in a row. That's pure joy for me. That's pure
Yeah.
joy for me.
It's pure joy for me until I have to do it 2 weeks in a row, and then it stops being joyful.
And I don't have anything else though. A kids, a family, but my whole family, all my brothers and sisters, and my mom and dad, they're all dead. No, they're not. I'm just kidding.
Well, mine are. So yeah, it's nice to joke around when
Ah,
all of mine are dead except for my brother. And you're like,
parents
oh
are
no, I'm just
dead.
kidding. I still have a brother.
My
My
mom
parents
actually,
are dead. My parents are dead. Boo! My whole family's dead. Sorry, Andy. That's life.
my mom, who virtually cried when I dropped out of college to mock movies with a robot puppet, like literally on her deathbed, like cursed me by saying, "I hope you'll keep doing stand up."
In the deathbed. That's
Literal
Oh,
deathbed in the hospice said this shit to me.
he's had a lot of tragedy early on. My tragedy is coming.
Hey, Andy, you know when I said that about your family a minute ago? Thanks for not laughing. It just made me look like an asshole.
Well, first of all,
That's his wheelhouse.
When I go, boo-hoo, my family's all
boo, boo,
dead.
boo. Well, I
Yeah,
do like the whole premise of Cry Me a River
yeah.
about your parents
Oh,
dying.
my mom's dead. My dad's dead.
Yeah,
My
but she's my
brother's
only
dead.
mother and father. Oh, boo, 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 boo,
Oh,
boo,
everybody
boo.
dies, Andy.
On stage.
Nice.
See? I always bring it back to the theme because I think you could see us as old. We walk the boards. What they used to say, walk the sawdust. I don't know what I'm talking about. Theater. What did the theater people say? I've been walking the board. I've been.
I've been walking the board so long, singing the same old song. Bam, 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 bam. Andy, you're a good man.
This is the only way that your behavior would be acceptable, is that you're on the show here, and I'm vouching for you. Otherwise, Josh would have hung up on you 20 minutes ago with this. I don't know why I'm being so mean because
You're
Todd and
not
I,
being mean.
we love to
I
be
love
mean to
you.
each other.
I know why you say that because sometimes, but Andy, I love it. It's just it only makes me feel great.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you can have a relationship with a comic that's so close. Josh doesn't know what I'm talking about, but that
Oh,
we're so
shut
close,
up.
we're almost completing each other's sentences, and it's so rare to find that. And
I
then
don't
Josh doesn't know what we're talking about.
I don't know if you remember this, Andy, but of course I have like great affection for you and just feel giddy when I'm around you. One night, I forget where we were at, but we were really mean to each other. For some reason, that's what the bit was. And we were like, God, fuck you, you piece of shit. I'll beat the shit out of you. I go, Andy, I'll fucking beat the fucking shit out of your stupid Jew face. And then you would say something so mean back to me. And it was so much fun
We love
because
doing that. We
it's
love
it's
doing that.
it's so it's just a parody of something very funny.
Hey, do the bouncer guy, Todd. About he's a bouncer, and people want to go back and see the star, and he's going to explain to them that it's don't worry, it's why
Well,
they can't
that's
see.
really your friend that who I know and love. But I'm just spacing on his name, Ed Krasnick.
Oh yeah. So I'd like to go see. I'd like to see Andy Kindler. Can I come see?
But you know what? Let me. Oh, like you're a big star now, and I'm your doorman, and then someone's trying to get backstage. Okay, excuse me. Andy's not seeing anybody tonight.
No, but I'm good friends with him, Andy Kindler.
But you
He
know
told me
what?
to come back.
Can I apologize to you? Can I apologize?
Wait, what do you mean apologize?
I'm not making myself clear. I had a long weekend, and now I'm a little. Andy, he's not seeing anybody tonight. Nobody's going backstage at all.
And he would go on for hours. He'd go, no.
No, you're supposed to go, but
I'm sorry. I'm
You know what?
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. Seriously. I hope I don't lose my job over this because this is my fault. I own it. Let me think and say it clear. It's not you. Andy's not seeing anybody tonight.
And this would kill. We would kill in green rooms across the country with this kind of material.
Yeah, I'm really dropping the ball as the third guy laughing.
That's right. The audience.
The audience is. Why is there a note of sadness now?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was
back to one.
Back to one.
It starts all over.
Now, are you traveling a lot, Todd?
You know what's funny, Josh? That's how I feel sometimes on stage. Like one thing doesn't work. Back to one.
Everything I've worked for.
That is absolutely the truth. I would be lying if I didn't say it. If I go out to the lyric Hyperion and a joke doesn't work, I want to kill myself. Even now, it's like I know not to kill myself. I know not to.
That's what experience brings you.
Yeah, that's what. The little life lessons you learn over the years.
Yeah, because in other words, like when you say, "Oh, I don't care what the crowd's doing," I mean that's not really true. You're having a relationship with the crowd, so you're trying to get them going on some level. So, well, Seinfeld used to have all these different personas, and one of his personas was a comic should do well in every room, and
until somebody corrected him.
Yeah,
remember that for years. He infamously said, and by the way, I'll even defend him. I knew what he meant when he said the crowd's never wrong. I'm sure he knew that sometimes the collective pulse of an audience, could be bad. It doesn't mean everybody was bad, but you still gotta. That's what he was basically saying.
You can't turn on them, is what he's saying.
Yeah, but then it changed. All of a sudden, when somebody said one thing about him, all of a sudden, the crowds are crazy.
Yeah, or he said it's always the crowd, and then he turned to I can't work colleges. Someone told him the colleges were not good, and he said I can't work.
Right.
The colleges
well, you know what's
French King.
But it's also a guy who's been playing theaters to people who bought tickets to see him for 40 years now.
That's right.
Yeah, and by the way, for what it's worth, I think it's funny. And by the way, a lot of your audience might not even agree with me, but I think it's funny that a lot of these guys, almost from a place of, and I'm not being sarcastic, of sadness, because it is a little delusional, which can be a little sad. When they go, colleges used to be a place you could be a forward thinker. Colleges used to be a place you could be a forward thinker. And then they can't believe, why do you think it flipped? Did they not agree with something you were saying? Because it's hard for a comic, especially when he was progressive, to go, now the kids don't agree with me. So instead of going, Jesus Christ, they have a history of being progressive. Could I be wrong? They just go, it all switched. Now they're dumber.
I actually remember like doing colleges when I was college age and going, holy shit, I thought this was supposed to be a liberal bastion. And that was like 1988, or 89.
That's because we all saw
it was Reagan era where I could feel the Reagan era in the audience.
Well, that's because we all watched Annie Hall. That's my theory about that. And in Annie Hall, he does 2 shows, and the kids come up, that's so great. I go, stay for the later show. I'm doing a whole different set. He ruined it for us.
For what it's worth, because I'm so passionate, was I clear? I was saying that I still think, look, it depends what college you go to.
No, but I'm just saying that I expected that and and this was back then. I think it's cyclical, but I found that with my Gen X compatriots, they were like shockingly more conservative in the audience than I expected they were gonna be. But I totally get your point that no, you're the one who fucking grew out of this.
Yeah, no, obviously there's isolated situations where I did colleges and maybe they didn't get the nuances of certain things, but they're really talking on the political spectrum.
Yes.
Of social issues. It doesn't have to be politics, but social. But yeah, I think that's funny with Jerry. And what's never mind. It's not important to talk about.
Well, let me tell you something. What do you think about? And then we're talking about people starting early and being great, like Dave Chappelle. I met him when he was like 18. Just the funniest guy I've ever seen. What? How do you transition from that to an anti-trans bully? That's what I want to
It's
know.
the same. It's the same reason you can't play colleges anymore because you grow out of any sensitivity and start thinking about your own fucking thing.
He really got a hold of. I mean, he really must have had. He has. Like, who knew that he would be so
Well,
horrible on this one
maybe
topic?
it's doesn't it always lead back to like if you don't grow off stage, you're not going to grow on stage because that's why I hear all comedians, and I answer this in my head very flippantly when they go, "It's not our job as comedians to have to change people's mind." And I now I'm being a little sarcastic, but I go, I agree. I think like they would expect you to disagree. You're right. It's not your job as a fucking comedian to do anything you don't want to do. Your job is to do what you fucking want. I stand by that. But as a human being, you can grow and you can change, and that'll end up affecting your comedy.
Right.
So yeah, as a human being, and I think a lot of the people, if you think, well, how did they? You just think they're going to be progressive forever, and then look, people fall off. Some people. That's why when certain comedians use their past as their badge of honor, they'll be like, "No, I'm progressive. You were."
Right.
That can't be. That can't be your reason. That's like an alcoholic going, "Hey, we saw you drinking this weekend." You go, "I didn't drink for 9 years straight." You go, yeah, but you fell off the wagon. That can't be your excuse. You're past. Because people fall off the wagon. And I sort of say the same thing about comedians. Forget about the ones that weren't progressive. The ones that were, you give it to them. 15 years ago, they were on the right side of history. They fall off the wagon. Most people do as they get older. I said that's my fear of getting older, that I feel like I won't have any friends because I'll watch, I'm at the point in my life now where my younger friends have fallen off the wagon. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're not.
Well, your younger friends are.
My younger friends are 40. So, you see them fall off the wagon. You know what I mean? Like they're having, oh, I can't remember, what to call somebody, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't, they fall off the wagon. So
they get, it's the dismissiveness of age, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this was a horrible idea. I don't know how we're going to save this even.
I
my
got
problem with it.
Andy, you're a good man.
Really?
You're a good man.
I thought you were going to sing or something.
You're a good man.
Oh.
5, 6, 7, 8.
You say you're a good man.
You're a good man.
For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things.
Don't sing one more word because we can't get the rights to it.
He truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows.
You did it your way.
I did it my way.
There was a Welcome Back Kotter episode where Mr. Woodman gets dragged off singing that song, much that same way.
Mr. Woodman, he was when you look back, you're like, how funny was that guy? Like,
he was good.
What a character actor.
I saw Charles Fleischer at Gelson's. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying this happens.
Uh-huh.
Did he go,
and,
hey.
Moolies. Let's go make fun of the old comics now like I used to do all day long. Even now, it's inappropriate.
Who? Like Steve Allen?
Here, what's your reaction to this? My friend was at a show the other night, and Tom Dreesen came and did a set. 85 years old, goes out to do a set. I think that's cool. Andy was like, that's sad.
Well, no, I don't think it's sad.
I think he's making up my side of this.
No, that's what you said.
Well, Andy, it depends what the act is, but
that's what my point was. That's exactly what my point is. Dreesen at 85 is not like Picasso at 85. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't like Picasso at 55.
Well, you know what? At least he's never socially on the wrong side, and it helps when someone's a nice person. And
are you using the back of your hand? Are you reading this off the back of your hand? Get it, Todd? The back of your head. So funny. I'm so funny.
When someone's nice, you like to take a stab at people that are nice, Andy. Me, unless their act is bad, I leave them alone if they're nice.
It's not enough for him.
It's not enough.
One time, Steve Sharippa told me that he was friends with Hugh Fink, and Hugh Fink, they were all going to go out to a meal, and Hugh Fink was like, whatever the comic was, that guy's a hack. And so, like, Steve Sharippa's like, oh, you can't eat a meal with somebody unless they, it was just ridiculous. That
was like a real actual reckoning for me when I was like a young road comic, because I was so fucking snooty about it.
Yeah.
And then I started making friends with a couple of people whose acts were just abominable. And I finally decided, all right, you have to judge them as a person, not a comic.
So I was just talking about this with Gary Goldman, and if somebody, like, a lot of times, like, people go, oh, can't you be friends with people that have different opinions than you? And I always like to go, of course I can, but there's lines.
Right.
And I think lines that I'll be proud of. Usually if somebody's nice and their act is just like I said, it's not for me. But they're a nice person, but they're not hurting society. They're not.
Right.
There's a lot of comedians, it's social views. I'm never really enraged at someone because I don't like their joke about a mall or a dog. It's usually a joke about something I'm passionate about. Those people, sometimes it's hard. Like, I won't say who it is, but there is a comedian. It's just so bad. It's so bad. But I saw him somewhere, and he was very nice, and even made me feel. I walked into a room. It was at Montreal Comedy Festival, and there were a lot of people in there. And he got up. He goes, "Todd Glass." When he gets into a room, and he turned to his other friend, "You stand up when Todd Glass walks into a room." And I was very sweet, and this guy's just horrendous. And I go, you know what? I that meant a lot to me. And I go, I can shut up about it. Then I was at the Improv, and I walked into the room, and I saw him doing his act. I'm like, oh, fucking no.
He got me. That fucker got me.
It's hard not to have that reaction when you see hackiness from someone. And a lot of times these people are funnier, obviously funnier off stage.
Right. But I at that time, I mean, there's also a difference in levels of hackiness. Hackiness in and of itself isn't a fucking hate crime.
Right.
Exactly. And I that's why I think, like, splitting it down the middle, because I agree. There's people that, their act isn't my thing, but I like them and they're kind, and we're close friends. And and I do have those people too, because otherwise, what's it going to do me to be, what am I going to do? Be mean when I see them? Or, if it's just their act I don't like. Now, if it's social, then I'm still nice. I'm still
I'll tell you, man.
Until they get something.
But, I never a threat. But I also have to say that the stories from being a comedian, I mean, I'm sure it's in every profession maybe, but I'll never forget this. Like, one time I'm friends with Rick Corso, right? And there used to be a comic, his name was Steve Smith. I don't even remember him. I don't know if you guys remember. But he was kind of obnoxious, right? And so Rick Corso rides with him back when they used to have the shuttle to parking lot C. And they say to each other, oh, we've been, this is really, really great. And Rick gives him his card. And then when Rick goes for his exit, he sees his card balled up and thrown on the stairs. Oh. He didn't even wait to get out of the shuttle to throw his card away.
Oh, that would melt. That would break my heart. Be like just a close up of the crumpled piece of paper. And the thing about comedians, like, I like to just, we're talking about it, put the energy out there. Overwhelmingly, I really do, even though sometimes I don't agree with them, like I said, when it's a social issue. But I like comedians. I like being around them, whether they're a 3-month comedian, you're at a club in the open mic night, you see, and they're hanging out, or whether it's somebody been doing it for, I really like comedians. I'm comfortable around them, and I feel at my best around comedians.
There's some murderer comedian. Some comedians have murdered people and stuff.
I don't care.
Even them.
They make me feel special.
They're easier to, even the murderer comedian is easier to hang with than a normie.
No, you're right, right. And there's a sense of like, even with all the problems, and somebody might be an alcoholic or dealing with some. There's just something that feeds my soul being around comedians.
I
I
mean,
went to Austin for the first time after the pandemic, and I'll tell you what, like. I hadn't performed live in whatever it was, a year or 2 years, and I went to Austin. And after the show, we hung out. She set up a big table outside, and I got in at the hotel that night. I started to tear up because I realized how much I needed that. Just till 2:30 in the morning, just sitting around talking to comedians. It was really spiritual.
Well,
yeah,
that's what the pandemic does show, is that you do miss that kind of thing.
there was
Sorry.
there was an Acme. Lewis flew in like 20 comics for an Acme anniversary. I think it was the 30th anniversary, right after the pandemic, like right around 2021, and it was the same. And we each only had to do one show over the course of 3 days, and the rest was just hanging out with comics, and it was like such an injection of life.
Yeah, it really is. It's good. It's a good fraternity to be a part of.
Are you reading off of notes, Todd? I can't
No.
believe it. I told you no notes. This is not a set. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Andy,
You're a good man. No, then you say I'm a good man. Sorry.
you're a good man.
Well, you're a good man.
Or what
I
is
don't
it?
know.
I don't want to
Another
sing
spit.
again. It might be off.
Oh, don't sing. Don't sing. That's right. I'm sorry.
Don't sing.
I'm glad
Don't
I
ask.
cut you off.
Don't make me sing. Don't make me dance.
So
No,
does
it's only the right
is
for
your
the song.
setup there a karaoke machine, or is it more sophisticated than that?
Nowadays you just listen to the iPad hooked into the PA, and then I have my mic. But this is where I used to do my podcast. Now I do Instagram and TikToks in here mostly now.
Gotcha.
You want to see it real quick?
Sure. It's quite a room.
Wow. That's what I told people. I tell people, look, Todd's
Look,
happy.
Andy, show
Don't-
us around your white void.
I don't want to move anything.
Andy, you would come on the podcast and
Oh, we
And you're
really had fun.
you
really
would
had fun.
shred.
You know when
You-
it's like two comics and they're really
oh,
when two comics get on a roll. Josh doesn't know what I'm talking about. But when two comics who really relate to each other, it's pure joy.
you're a joy.
Podcast.
That's what I want to name my next special if I do one.
Pure joy?
Yeah, you got a problem with it? I smoked a little jazz cigarettes before I started.
Well, that's amazing because I refrained from doing it all day because I knew that when I have done it before, Josh hasn't been happy because I don't remember where I am, and I don't listen to what he's saying, and I mumble, and then so I'm the bad guy.
And so
I'm the
Andy,
bad guy.
Andy, let me just say, you both made the right decision.
That's true because you're just, Todd, since you don't have a rhythm per se,
Yes.
then you can get
I don't know it's an insult. Oh, right.
easy because you're right. So you don't have to worry. You're not going to worry that you're going to forget something. What are you going to forget? Your 30-year-old joke about Brill cream?
Hey.
This is the oldest joke I remember, Vera, speaking of 30-year-old jokes. I worked with you at the Irvine Improv.
Wow.
Mid to late 90s. Now you were emceeing.
I'm already embarrassed.
Chris Bliss was headlining. And but the joke I remember for some reason, I'm sure you won't claim it's your best, but the punchline was, "I'm sorry I'm late, but I left late." You wish people would say that.
I think that's great. I love that joke.
Josh, you know what's funny about that? Not that I'm proud of this. Sometimes I'm sure we all have this happen. You don't do a joke for a long time. But when I open up and I didn't do this except for the last year, I remembered that joke. And when I'm opening up for like another act, like Jim Gaffigan or in a theater where people might be coming in late, it gets a big laugh. First thing I do is I go, some people are coming in late, and I do that joke. And it's so funny. You go, I'm sure you don't think it's your best. And now I'm like, I still do it.
It's good. Well, I just wanted, it stuck with me for 30 years. So.
Yeah, Josh, I'm happy that it wasn't, because sometimes, I asked my friend, I talk to Gary Goldman a lot, so that's why I'm always like, I said this to Gary, I go, when am I going to not be embarrassed in my old work? And he goes, because really, when I did my last Netflix special, I thought, this I won't be embarrassed about. I mean, I hope I grow, but I won't be embarrassed by it. I'm embarrassed by it. And I go, when am I not going to be embarrassed? He goes, well, hopefully never. What do you want to be like? Oh, my best work was 5 years ago. You know,
Right.
That's good. That's a good one. That's
Gary,
a good one.
not
Gary,
that good. Go
Gary,
fuck
another
yourself.
one of our few annual guests.
Who's that?
Who? Gary Goldman?
Gary was one of our guests. Adomian was our last one.
James
Wow.
Adomian. He's another freak of nature. I mean, just a powerhouse.
And those
Absolutely.
guys, the thing I loved about both of them, they came on the show, they deliver. You know what I'm saying? They come on the show, they don't fuck around with it, and they know the job is to be funny, and they did it. So
You want
today
me to-
was a little different.
You know,
I don't
maybe
think
I
that's
sh-
a tragedy.
You know, if you want me, I'll do a new joke out of the act. You ready?
Okay,
Please,
you're right.
please.
Okay. You know, is that reverb? Can you still hear me with the
I
reverb?
hear the reverb, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you ever meet these people? They're so competitive. Like, we all know someone a little competitive, but someone's like a parody of competitive. My niece's boyfriend, anything I say, it could be like, oh, I went to Francine's, that crazy bread's good there. He goes, that fucking bread ain't great. The bread I got that comes out like not in a basket, but a straight jacket. This bread's fucking, they don't even have medicine for it. I go, all right, but I still like the other crazy bread. Nah, the crazy bread I got, I saw the bread shit in its own hand and eat it. I go, oh, I'll give it
That's
to you.
good
That's
bread.
crazy bread.
That's some crazy bread.
Thank you.
Wow, this is I want to tell you, this is like the old days. I'm
But-
the opener and you're the something like that. Go ahead.
By the way, did you need to pick up the mic to tell us that bit, Todd?
Well, it was for the visual, and the reverb makes it seem like you're at a club. Now I'm like just a guy, but all of a sudden I'm at a comedy club talking to a big audience.
Why do they call it reverb? Why don't they
Because-
just call it what they really should call it?
Oh, does he have it? Does he have it? No.
This is what happens all day when I go to the workshops at Josh's
Can I ask
house.
you? Can you make a sound effect for Andy? What you just said, like go, oh, does he have it? Oh, eat my, oh, come on,
Don't give him any more ideas.
Does he have it?
You're not like just like you said it. Like he can still keep doing the joke, but like, oh, you can
does he have
isolate
it?
this. Does he have it? Oh, I think he's gonna do it. He's got it. Come on, Andy.
Well, this whole talk about the fact that I'm going to end up in a home and I won't even get into the motion picture retirement home. I'll have
No.
to go to some place like in Torrance.
You're gonna have to go to the sitcom trailer park.
Is there something like that?
Oh no, the motion picture retirement. That's why I give a lot to the SAG fund every year because I figure I'm going to end up there and go. I gave a lot of money when I was younger.
Get me up the waiting list.
I don't know where that is though, Todd. Where is? Oh, Josh, where is the actual motion picture?
It was in Woodland Hills. I don't know where it is
Oh.
any longer. That's
Okay.
the one that like Larry Howard or Larry Fine was at, rather.
Oh,
Mm.
Mm.
Uh,
nah.
Mm.
Mm. Remember back in the day, there were all those comedians that did the same sound. You don't realize it. Like Jerry Lewis went, bah! Charlie Callis went, whatever he did, and then there were a few that did like, it was like a lot of
then Lenny Schultz did both.
Lenny Schultz. Yes. Who else did it? What was her name? She's still alive, and she's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She plays
Susie
Larry.
Essman.
No. I'm talking about old, like
No,
generation
well,
from like
okay. I didn't mean to make a joke. She's funny.
no.
I was fucking up.
no,
there.
from like the 50s.
Oh.
She's
Phyllis Diller. No.
no, she was on Laughing.
Oh,
She,
did she just die?
I don't think she did. She used to play the secretary on Curb. Black hair.
Oh. Who is that person?
That's all right.
I have so much anger towards Curb.
Joanne Worley.
Joanne Worley. She went.
And
And then Charlie Callis went, blink, 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 blink. Jerry Lewis went, blah, 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 blah. And Charles Nelson Riley went, oh, and then Paul Lynn went, oh. They all just go, look, we all like it. We'll do our version of it.
Yes.
I used to work on a talk show, and Dave Gruber Allen worked with me, and we'd have a bit when the show sucked the night before. We'd come in and go, so did you see the show? Yeah, Joanne Worley called me. She saw the show. Oh yeah, really? What'd she say? Well, she said it was lame.
Who else could you do that to? How many people in your life could you do your Joanne Worley
Gruber,
shtick to?
Gruber's my Todd Glass for you, like you have.
Yeah.
Any comedian, those all those names from growing up. I'm always happy when I'm like Joanne Worley. I just happened to look up the other day, like, is she still alive? And that's when I saw. I didn't even know she had done Curb, but she's still looking good. You know.
Boy, you really talk about
We
it.
just
You take a-
we just lost Ruth Buzzy, but
Yes,
I
did
saw
believe
that.
yeah.
I saw that.
Oh, nice words.
God, we're all, they're all dying. Good. You know what I say every time a comedian dies, even if I love them, I go, good, now it's my turn, baby.
Everyone moves up one.
Yeah.
I always like to say, make God
But wait,
laugh.
that person was below me on the rung. Shit.
Even better. Make God laugh. That's what Jamie Masada puts up
Masada.
at the Laugh Factory.
Jamie Masada.
That's his only hope.
Every time I think of Kramer doing that set there, it just makes me ill.
He's-
I know his name is not
can I
Kramer.
tell you, I just saw the one who thinks I could find something new to laugh at about that. It's after he says it, you almost can. He doesn't know what to do. He's like, "Fuck." He goes, "These words." Like he's trying to conceptualize.
That's what he was
it.
trying. He was trying to Charles Fleischer it there.
Yeah, these words we
Words.
use. Like,
And the fact that he didn't know, which I think is the saddest part of this, he didn't know there's a hacky club. I think that's on him. You know what I mean? Like he thinks, what did he think that club was going to be like? The Laugh Factory. I'm not justifying his rant, but the fact that he was like,
You know
oh,
what? I think as one of the stars of the hottest shows on TV ever, he probably could have done okay there.
that's true. You're right. You're right. You're saying what's right. You're
that was
saying
years
that.
ago, and this is a new day, and everybody does things
I just
that
saw
they maybe are embarrassed about.
on Amazon Prime they have like a handful of episodes of the show Fridays. Speaking of Michael Richards, do you remember the show Fridays?
Yeah, I do remember that. Sure. Isn't that the one where Andy Kaufman got voted off of, or was that Saturday Night Live?
He was a Saturday Night Live guy. I'd be surprised if, but it was really dire. It was I watched a few episodes and it was.
Oh, was Fridays? Did Larry David? Was he a writer on that show?
He was a cast member.
He was a cast member.
As was Michael Richards.
Because Jiminy Glick was interviewing him, which, by the way, one of my favorite things in the world is Jiminy Glick. And you know what? Whoever these people are that put together like montages of some, whatever, whoever it is, they do Jiminy Glick ones. And he goes, what was Friday? He goes, what was Fridays? He goes, well, it was like SNL, but, and then he's like, but not funny.
And it really was that. It was a dire feel. It was like it was very LA feeling, but it felt like a really bad night at the Groundlings.
With brilliant people doing it, that eventually obviously found their voice.
niche. They did find their niche. Absolutely.
I know you got a beef with probably everybody on that show, Andy, but I don't, because unlike you are out to get everybody. Me, there are also people that I love.
You're a bridge builder.
I'm a bridge builder.
A lot of people say to me, Andy, you've burned so many bridges. You don't work that much anymore. People don't like you on a personal level. You seem to have squandered whatever money you had. You have all kinds of skin conditions. That's all I got on that one. I'm sorry. See, Todd, I just wanted to prove that I, too, can do this absurdist type humor.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think we've got a snoot full.
I think we do have a snoot full. I think we do. Now, when we bring in the guy who's going to replace Todd Glass, I can't stop this character.
Andy, it's okay. I tell you this every time. It's. I'm not just saying it. I love it. I love you.
No, we really do love each
You can't
other.
do anything wrong.
I have feelings for you that you just don't usually have for comedians. And Josh doesn't know about this. But sometimes you can feel close to someone. It's almost like a family. Josh doesn't understand.
No, I'm taking Tolerate Andy lessons today.
Yeah, but I'm not around you as much as Josh, so let's be fair to Josh.
I like my hollow laugh. Yeah, it's funny that
It's like a
funny how
master. It's a masterclass in tolerating you.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I am so. It's hilarious how annoying I am.
Well, I guess it's time for me to. Do you want me to wrap the show up with a
Sure.
song?
Please, please.
But not a song that we have to clear.
All right.
Thank you. Well, here I am. It's a Tuesday night. Andy's on the phone, and that's the only part I do. The beginning of those songs, you can really trick people. I like to get them excited in my act. I go, "Oh, do you like improv songs?" I go, "Sure." Are you ready? Give me an easy beat. The guy in the first row is wearing a hat. Some people say that's that. But in walked a girl. She sat next to him. And then I stop it right there. And I go, that's all I do, folks.
That is comedy to me.
It's like
They get excited. They go, oh, he's going to ad-lib a song. And then I stick it to him.
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
commitment drag, kind of.
Right, right.
Well, I love you guys. I don't care.
All right, come on. Say something sincere before we
Okay,
leave.
no,
Andy.
I do want to say something sincere, but it's hard to say something sincere because I really have a lot of love for Todd, which is unusual because I don't go back into that bit. No, there's no way to end something sincerely when you're a comedian. You have to
Watch me work. Hey,
Okay.
Todd, thanks so much for doing this. We really appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much. And Andy, we have something more than saying we love you. Can I tell you a quick thing?
Yes.
One time my mom she goes, how come we don't say we love you? And if something came up like that, and I was like, oh, we say it. Then for the week on the phone, I said, I love you. You know, I said, I love you when we were hanging up. I go, I love you. I figured I love you was a little easier for me to say. And I do love her. And then one day on the phone, she goes, Todd, we don't have to say, we have something. No. She didn't mean it sarcastically. She meant for some reason it didn't flow. But we showed each other we loved each other. It's not like we had she goes, we have something deeper than that. I'm like, oh, Mom, that's the brilliant mom I know. Because she's right. It's like we love each other. And so that night on the phone, I just go, well, how about if we do this? I go, go fuck yourself. And she laughed so hard. And I was like, from then on, that's how we would hang up the phone. We would say, go fuck
beautiful.
yourself. It really was. It really was.
Yes, no, it is.
So
Josh, you should
that's all I got.
Josh, you should definitely. I like the idea of him petering out at the end, so definitely keep that in there.
God, man, I'm just
Thank
embarrassed to be associated with you.
Thank you, guys.
I love you, Todd.
Thanks
I
so
love
much,
you, Andy.
Todd.
Josh, nice hanging out with you, and good luck to all your endeavors.
A pleasure. Likewise, my friend.
All right,
I love you guys. Be
who's
good.
going to stop this thing?
I'll stop it on my end, so hang up
Okay.
whenever you'd like.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Oh, we're gonna do postmortems.
No, as we were leaving, I was just going to give him something to fade out on.
Can you hang up on him? You hang up on me all the time. Why can't you hang up on him?
Well, we had fun. The show is almost over. I had a good time. I don't mean to blush, but this is what I do. I talk to Andy, a big fat Jew. Look at him ride. Look at him do it. Please hang up on me because I'm not going to
Here,
stop.
I'm gonna...